Uh, Good morning, everyone. We are Team Swachh Toilets from SPJMR, Mumbai. Let me show you the current situation of public toilets in India. These are the pictures that we clicked in Mumbai. 700 million urban people worldwide do not have access to private toilets. 100 million people defecate openly, and out of that, 41% are from India. 12% urban population in India defecates openly, and only 8% of them use public toilets. This is because of the low density of public toilets in India. And India is facing a lot of challenges because of that. One is diseases due to bacterial infection, deterioration of human health. Second is women's safety, rape and murder cases. So we went ahead and did some primary research in cities like Chandigarh, in tourist places like Goa, and metropolitan cities like Mumbai. So we talked to the toilet providers and we found what is the current business model and what is the average footfall per day. We talked to customers and asked them their current perception of the current quality standards of public toilets. And we also asked them what is if they are willing to pay extra if the quality standards are improved. We found that they were willing to pay even 100 to 150% extra if the quality standards are improved. Then we went ahead with analysis of this industry of public toilets. On the competition side, we found municipalities and Sulabh International, Sulabh International has around 8,000 toilets across India. On the buyer side, we found there's high willingness to pay. So, our idea, this is where Swachh Toilets comes into play. Our idea is threefold. First of all, we will have the first mover advantage in this industry. So our idea is about, first of all, we will primarily focus on improving the current quality standards in public toilets in India. How? By building a brand known for consistent quality. B, we will be providing aggregation services. We'll act as an aggregator. On the supply side, we'll enter into management contracts with the current existing public toilets, with Sulabh International, with the NGOs, and with municipality bodies. On the demand side, our customers will be able to find location of toilets nearby. Also, we'll be providing standardization of services. We'll provide standard minimum quality standards across all public toilets in India.
Now we'll talk about the three major segments that we've identified. First is the exclusivity seeker. This is the person who belongs to the higher income group and perceives public toilets to be for the lower or middle class people. Second is the cleanliness paranoid, that's the segment B. These are the people in the medium income group and they perceive that public toilets are filthy and I don't want to use them. And last is the regular segment C. These are the people in the lower income group. They are in the dire need of public toilets because they don't have access to they don't have their own private toilets, and also they're prone to the diseases the most because they're not aware of the diseases. So we've analyzed the three segments and we've come up with three products that are for each of the three segments. First, we have the Swachh Exclusive. This is for the segment A. This is a manless, technology-driven e-toilet that will be procured from the vendors, and this will be priced at a premium level. Next, we have Swachh Premium. This is for the segment B. And this is a modular bio-toilet that will be set up based upon the build, operate, transfer model, and that will be priced slightly higher than the current market price. And finally, we have Swachh Regular for the segment C. This is where the existing toilets will be taken up by us in the form of management contracts and the qualities will be improved and they'll be priced at the same level as that of the current market price. So for the initial years of operations, we are going to focus on the segment C and the product Swachh Regular for two main reasons. First, the low capex because of the collaboration model, and secondly, the volumes. The footfall per day for segment C is 600 per complex per day. And compared to the segment B, the footfall is, in segment B, it is around 340 per day per toilet, and in segment A, it's 150 per toilet per day. So two reasons why we'll be focusing on segment C.
So now I will take you through the business model of our business. So let me first explain you how we are going to earn revenues. So there are going to be three sources of revenue. A, we are going to collect fees from every user. Second, advertisements. And third, we are going to make ancillary sales like sanitary napkins, soaps, which will be required by the travelers. As far as advertisements and ancillary sales are concerned, they are going to constitute 8% of the total revenues. So we can leave them aside and we can just concentrate on the fees that we are going to collect from the users. So now let me tell you, so we have taken all these three products and independently we have analyzed each and every product to see where is the financial viability to go through the execution. So first I will take you through the C product, where you can see the model will be management contracts. So we will be taking up with the existing toilets and we will be providing them a contract fee. So as you can see, the major costs involved are the contract fee, which is around 50% of the revenues, and the employee cost, that is around 30%, with operator having the highest cost. So that leaves us with only 5 to 10% of the margins in the, 5 years down the line. But as you can also see that the volumes are very high in the C segment, so the NPV comes out to be highest as compared to the other products. So NPV is around $8 million and the NPV is 75%. So this will be the model for the C segment.
Excuse me. Am I having a correct understanding with it that you are going to build a public toilet, but you will invest everything yourself?
No, so the first segment, the C segment, there are certain existing facilities of public toilets already there.
Oh, so you just manage.
We will just manage them because we don't want to put a lot of capital expenditure. We just want to use a asset light strategy so that in the initial years, like 4 or 5 years, we generate profit and then.
And in your first year forecast, is it based on existing toilet only?
Yeah, the first 5 years are on the existing toilets only. And so now this is about the C type of the segment that we are catering to. Then we can analyze the B type of customers where we are going to use a build, operate, transfer model. So here we are going to build our own bio toilets, modular toilets, but after 10 years down the line, these toilets will be transferred to the government because we'll be taking lease from the government to use the space. So here you can see the profit margins are higher than the C segment because we'll be charging a higher price.
I have a quick question. Those leases that you're going to get from the government, could you expand on that a little bit? Because India is notorious for the bureaucracy. What do you expect that you will run into? I understand from some of the material that you think that you don't need all the licenses because you're only leasing the space, but I would imagine it takes time anyway.
Yeah, so we did go to the municipalities, we talked to them, and currently the model is such that if you want to set up a toilet, you can set up it at 1 rupees per year, they will give you on lease. So all the NGOs, all the Sulabh International, or all these people are using the toilets, are putting the toilets on the spaces just at a very, very low price because today India is going on a mission called Swachh Bharat, which is being entertained by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We also have a tax of 0.05% Swachh cess that constitutes around 4,000 crores of treasure, which out of which 80% goes to the cleanliness. So there is a strong push from the government for the cleanliness and the setting up these toilets. So taking space for the toilets is not going to be a big task.
Could I ask, the relationship you have with the facility owners under your management contract, are you anticipating that would be a fixed cost annually or a profit sharing arrangement? Will you need to make long-term commitments? How exactly will that work?
So this will be based on sharing of the revenues. So currently, let's say they are earning 4 rupees per user. We will be giving them 2 rupees per user, 50% of the revenue they were earlier getting. This is because now they are not going to incur any kind of cost. All they are going to get is the contract fee. So this will be entirely the profit for them. So the relation between with the collabs and us will be sharing of the revenue.
So your argument is that the net contribution to them is higher by sharing the revenue with you and having no costs than by them managing the asset themselves.
Yeah, so because in the initial years, as you can see, the footfall is very less in their toilets. So that is why even if we start managing those facilities, we are running into losses in the first 3 years. The margins are as low as, in the first year it's -14%, -11%, and in the third year it's only around 1%. So initial years, because of the very less footfall, the margins are very lower, and the same is the case for them also. Because we are going to adopt the same model, we are going to charge the same prices, but we have to maintain certain quality standards, because of which we will run into losses. But as the years go past by, the footfalls are going to increase. So that's how the fixed costs which are already associated as far as the salaries is concerned, so that will come down per toilet complex and we will start earning profits. And the profit earning will be, margins will be like 4 to 5% in the coming years.
Why, why do footfalls increase? Just, I'm thinking about a toilet in an area has a certain number of people around. Can you explain what's going to increase those footfalls?
So currently, if you, as you have seen in the pictures, the quality of the toilets is so bad, you would never want to go and enter these toilets. If the quality is maintained, people will go to these toilets, plus there will be a lot of promotional campaigns that will put up. We will also have a mobile application.
So are you saying that people right now
Yeah.
have set up toilets and they're just losing money and losing opportunities and they don't even have enough, you know, they're just, why did they set up the toilet?
So they set up the toilets because initially the government focus is just that to make the people believe that.
So they want to help the government, or are they private people that have set up the toilets?
So sir, the government is also pushing a lot on increasing the density.
So just tell me, who, for the toilets that you're going to try to take over, who actually owns them or set them up? Is it individuals, businesses, or is it government?
So the owners will be the same. Currently, Sulabh is working as an NGO. That's why they are not profit based. So what from our primary research, we found that people are willing to pay, but they're not getting the quality standards, which has not improved for years. And that's where lies the untapped opportunity.
It's hard for me to understand that. How many toilets are you going to take over, you think, in this stage?
So in 5 years down the line, if you talk about the C segment, there will be around 10,000 toilet complexes.
So those toilets are generally already in existence.
So these are existing.
And they're
yeah.
poorly managed.
Yeah, they're
Yes,
poorly
yes.
managed.
And
yeah.
whose money is that that's set them up? Is it government money or is it individual or business money?
So it's a mix of the money. So the people who are setting it up, some of them are operating on BOT
So
model.
everybody's okay with losing money. They're already losing money. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because as far as this is concerned, so it has been a number of years that their money has been recovered from whatever the smaller margins they have earned.
I'm equally confused. Could you explain to us about Sulabh, right? They have 8,000 now.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Are they all in the wrong places?
No,
Because
sir.
footfall doesn't really change, right? Footfall is footfall.
The major issue is regarding quality, sir. People.
But do they realize they have an issue? Like, are they happy? Have they actively been looking for you? Or are they happily running 8,000 loss-giving toilets? I don't really understand the relationship.
So right now, most of the Indians living in the urban slums, they do not have a toilet only.
I understand all that.
Yeah.
No, back
But-
to this specific
So
company
this-
and these specific
Yes,
8,000
so the-
toilets.
Yes. So the Sulabh's focus is to provide public toilets so that people can at least have an access. Right now, the focus is not on the quality. Because they are not focusing on the quality, people are openly defecating. They are not coming to public toilets. That is the reason the footfall is so low. Since our entire focus is on quality, and
These guys aren't very smart then if they set up toilets and people aren't using them, right?
right.
So that's what you're saying?
Yes,
They're just
yes.
not that smart, and so thousands of toilets they set up, people are defecating outside of these toilets because they're not smart enough to figure out to get people in them? I don't understand that.
So this is because their focus is not at all on profits. So their focus is just to provide them an access and say that.
No, but she just said that they're defecating outside, so
Yes.
they're not even providing access. So they're not providing profit or access is what you're saying. It's so bad.
Sir, Sulabh's focus is mostly on increasing the density and on providing toilets to households, not to public toilets. They're focused. They have been in establishment for 45 years, and they have not focused on increasing the density.
It's just that the thing that we're trying to get to is that in what we often say in business is there's no free lunch. What you're telling us is that there's thousands of toilets sitting there with profits available and they're not getting it. That's okay, but you need to convince us of that. So we probably should keep moving.
Let me ask a question to this young lady on the left, because I noticed that she keeps feeding information to the other three of you, so I'd like to talk to you directly. All of you, the first three, have mentioned your market research and a high willingness to pay for the toilets. Tell me about this market research.
So, sir, we stay in Mumbai right now. So what we did, So we are all from different places of India. Like I'm from Chandigarh, Haryana, different places. So we started with Mumbai. So Mumbai has a lot of population and places like local railway stations. So we went to such places where there's a lot of footfall and there's a lot of need.
How many places?
So 10 places in particular, one consisting of local railway stations and the places like Juhu, Chopati that are the popular tourist places. So these places we went there. So what we did was, first of all, we analyzed the number of people who are taking the tickets from there. For example, I'll give you an example of a local railway station in Andheri West. So there's people are taking tickets from there. So we analyzed, we went for like a sample time, let's say 2 to 3 hours, and then we analyzed how many tickets are people are buying. So that will give us an estimate about how many people are coming there. And then we went to the toilet operators. So he's making a list on his notebook. So for that hour, let's see how many people are coming there. So that way we analyze number of people coming there and number of people using the public toilets. So that gives us an estimate about how many people, what is the opportunity there, existing, what is the opportunity there. So this is how we went about to estimate the numbers that we'll be focusing on. Going ahead, we talked to the people around, people like us, people like auto rickshaw drivers who don't have knowledge about basic stuff. So we talked to those people, we conducted interviews, we had questions like how frequently do you use public toilets and what do you think is the quality? Do you know about the diseases that are present in the society? Such questions with people, and also in our own college, we have a batch strength of 2.
I think one of the points about this is we suspect that your questions are all biased, right? You're going to ask somebody, oh, would you pay for a better, cleaner toilet? Everybody's going to say yes, right? So can you explain about the bias that's natural in this type of survey and how you have adjusted for it so we don't run into the situation where people have been surveyed saying that they will do it, they will pay, but in the end they don't pay. Can you address that?
So, sir.
So one of the examples I would like to give. So one of the things which is started in the city of Chennai, so it's a very premium kind of services. It's a 5 lakh INR toilet. And it gets a shower after every visit of a customer. It gets a shower. It's absolutely clean. And people are winning 20 rupees for that.
You are getting off track here. See, your focus is on the most basic group of segment. I understand. I mean, the luxury people can do. I mean, they have money, but I think your whole business promise relies on this. People who still defecating outside, and you try to convert this traffic into yours so you can sell advertisement.
Yes, sir.
So come back to Judge's questions about your survey,
Sir.
that you said people are willing to pay more to come to the public toilet if it's more clean. How many % of those people are actually currently defecating outside now?
Yeah.
See, they're defecating outside now because they have money, but the toilet are not good enough for them, so their choice is to go defecate openly. Or do they don't having affordability to actually do anything, and they have no choice, they have to defecate in the open. So you just have to discuss on this.
So as to explain the affordability only, I was taking this example. So it's 100% hike from the existing price, the Chennai toilets. And still people in the C segment, they are ready to pay for it. So people are actually paying for it. If you provide them, the 65 toilets operational right now, if you provide them, they're paying for it. We actually spoke to them. We don't stay in Chennai, we spoke on phone, and they're very much.
My point is, will this cleaner toilet convert people who are now defecate openly to quit defecate openly and come to the premise?
So sir, as you see, our primary focus is not on charging higher right now. We plan to charge the same and we just want to get the management contracts of the existing toilets. We'll build a brand over 2-3 years. We'll try to focus on providing consistent quality. We'll not be charging any higher.
You still don't understand the point. The point is, will whatever you're trying to do actually solve defecation in the open problem or not? That's my question.
So we are primarily focusing on urban slums, and at this point of time, the areas for open defecation is seriously declining. The open areas. So people, they have to look for places to go inside a toilet and do it. And also, women's safety is becoming a major concern. So you must have heard in news a lot that
Okay,
whenever
so
women...
let's move on from this for a second, and let's imagine that somehow existing toilets are going to be amazingly clean at a cost for you, and then you're going to sell advertising at this low end. Can you convince us that the advertising is really there, the advertising dollars? I mean, I can understand in your high-end ones, you're going to advertise the mobile phone and the this and the that, but at the low end, tell us about your advertising.
So in India, companies like P&G and Unilever, so their main focus is bottom of the pyramid at this point of time. So they are coming with small sachet, 3 rupee sachet, 2 rupee sachet of shampoos, of soaps. So these are the people whom they really want to target rather than the premium segment. Because right now they're focusing on the volumes rather than the premium products, rather than the margins.
So what kind
these are
of,
the companies we're targeting.
have you had discussions with these suppliers? And have you talked about the potential partnership, or they're bringing some of their materials there, or what they will pay for that? Can you explain that?
Sir, we as we mentioned, we talked to the supplier, the toilet providers, and
The ancillary products will be like sourced from the wholesalers only, and the margins are going to be very, very less. So that's not a significant amount of revenue that we are going to generate. So that's going to be just to create.
Okay, so tell us about the advertising.
Yeah, so the advertising is going to constitute 8% of the revenues. So we will be charging around 5,000 rupees per month for one complex to the companies. And this advertising will consist of these sanitation kind of.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, have you talked to the companies that are going to advertise, and what's your idea about what they're going to pay and what they're going to advertise there?
So the justification is based on our talks with the recruiters that comes to our college, like P&G comes, HUL comes. They come for giving presentations about their competitions. So when we went ahead and when we talked to them, they were ready to put up their posters, because 5,000 rupees per month for such a big, huge giant is not.
Okay, so the next question that I have is, I want to understand about the expansion into the next stage. And one of the questions that I have that's critical for me is that I need to understand about pricing. Over the next 5 years, can you increase the price for the different segments, or how is price set? Does the government have any role in that?
So initially, as you see, the for C segment, the prices are going to remain constant for 3 to 4 years. But as far as India is concerned, the inflation rate is 4%. So we are going to increase the prices according to the inflation rate.
Is there any government restriction on your pricing?
No, there is no restriction on the price.
So this is pure.
Are you sure there's no government restrictions?
No, there is no government restrictions.
And there's been no discussion by the government
So we have talked to
specific to toilet pricing?
so sir, government is trying to push the NGOs and private players into setting up toilets and operating them, and charging as per the industry standards.
The reason I ask is because you have referenced Prime Minister Modi's new initiative, and surely you're aware that when he was in the United States, he announced that there were maybe 1,800 new companies that the government is contracted with to install toilets. Are you one of that 1,800?
So the focus of Narendra Modi sir is in the rural areas, and it's into the household toilets. What he's trying to do is he's trying to put up these toilets in the rural areas, in their households. What we are focusing on are on the urban toilets where the need is still there.
I disagree with you, because I was at the meeting when he said he was specifically referring to public toilets.
Yeah, so but those public toilets in the rural areas.
So yeah, our focus is on urban areas, not on rural areas. That's the difference.
So to answer your question, so we have taken the inflation rate, but at the same time, we are moving to more premium services going down the line.
So there's two. Why I'm asking this is there's two issues that you have. Obviously, if you can make everything better, you can increase price and all that. But usually with a public service, such as bus service or other things, and this clearly is something that is a human need, right? You will usually run into two resistance. Number one, government. Number two, the local people. You may say in a spreadsheet that you're going to increase the price, but you may find out that people either stop using it or they actually revolt and say that's not fair. And so it could be that all the value that you're thinking about that you're going to get over time just won't come. Your prices will be fixed, for the next 5 to 10 years, right?
So this can be supported by the example of water. So water is a public need and it's a public utility where the government has the duty to provide the water free of cost. But now, so this was the situation 5 years before where no one was buying mineral water. But as you see now in India, a lot of people in the lower strata are using the mineral water only to drink. So their prices are very high and the prices are actually increasing year-wise. But people want to live a good lifestyle, that's why they buy those water bottles. So in the similarly, we can bring an analogy to it and say that the toilets, since you will be getting a cleaner service, your situation, your lifestyle is going to improve, they will be using that facilities as well. Again, it can be supported by the example of smartphones. Earlier, 5 years before, there was no phone with anyone. Now, people are using smartphones. The penetration is as high as like 80% in the urban areas. And so we have a program called Abhidaya, where we go to slums every month 2 times, and we have a kid that we have to mentor. Today, all these households who are living in a very small space, like 4 members, they all have smartphones. So, given the lifestyle of the India which is changing, the dividend, demographic dividend that we have, there are youngsters.
Yeah, I get that. And one of the issues is that this is not like, hey, you're free to go and buy a thing of water at a convenience store. That's very different. This is a human need that you're providing to, and within 3 to 5 years, the people in that community are going to think that that's theirs and that that's important to them. And it's just like in America, for instance, they're trying to say that the internet is a public service now, and it must be regulated in such a way, and pricing must be set. So I'm just asking about that.
And so just to add his point, so he spoke about smartphones. Now, health is a key issue. Smartphone is not a necessity. If if the person is able to pay so much for a smartphone, then why not health? He's definitely more concerned. And with demographic dividend setting up in India, youth, they are coming up and they're becoming even more aware of the health conditions in India, and they want to improve it. So that is why we see this strata to going forward to really want good health facilities and to focus on clean toilets rather than going to the existing filthy toilets.
I have a question of a very practical nature. Those toilets, I don't know how many you plan to take over the first year. When you're discussing it with the local people in the local area, do you run into any kind of resistance? You're going to charge the same, but you're going to take half, right?
So yeah.
So this is money they're currently making, but you will take half, but they will accept it because in the future you will have more customers. I don't exactly get it.
So
at one of those railway stations, for example, as you mentioned, there is already a toilet running, and there's already so and so many people coming. They pay so and so much. What's the deal you're going to make with that particular toilet?
So we are not taking the half of their profits. We are taking half of their revenues, and we are giving them half of the revenues with zero cost. They are not incurring any cost right now if we give them the half of the revenues.
Who are these people? So I understand to some extent the logic that they can get half of what they currently do by doing nothing. But what if they got nothing else to do? It's rare that people are willing to give up half their revenue just to not do what they do every day.
So whatever the employees which are there in the existing toilets, like the cleaner or the operator, so they will be working for us only. So they are not going to go anywhere. So they are going to stay there only. We are going to hire them only. And they will be used as a reference to hire new set of people.
That's a good answer. So then I understand. So then go back to the owner. Then I'm sorry to be a bit slow here. So go back to the owner. So the owner has agreed to this with you, to share 50% of their revenue going forward, because you say so. Why on earth would they do that?
Owner doesn't operate. Owner just owns. Owner is government. Owner is municipality. All his concern is to increase the footfall and encourage people to not openly defecate.
So you would negotiate this with the municipality.
Right.
And the current people who get the revenue, the municipality has accepted to lose 50%?
No, sir, it's not. It's the revenue sharing. Currently, they are not working as a profit-based center. They're working like a non-profit center. We will provide them with fixed, with certain amount of revenues which they are already having. In fact, it will be more.
All right. So you take the risk of seeing whether you can make more.
We have planned to go ahead with 5 solar complexes in Mumbai in the next 3 months. We are planning to talk to them. We have in fact got our first support from them. that they are ready to, they are impressed with our idea, and they are willing to do it, because their focus is not on public toilets. Their focus is on rural household toilets, because government's focus is also on that thing, and they also want to, as an NGO, they want to focus on household to increase the penetration of household toilets, not on the public toilets.
So it's
That's
not,
where the opportunity
so all we're trying to say, it's not their core business and they want to make
Thank you. Thank you very much, Team Swash Toilets from SP Jain Institute of Management Research in India. Wow, that was like